Altogether, I remember falling twice during my 6 months of preparation for the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. The very first time was in the evening, and I remember it was raining that day. My wife had warned me not to go running, but I insisted. I was like, I'll be fine, it's just a little rain. If I start taking a little rain as an excuse not to go running, before you know it, I will have excuse after excuse after excuse not to train. It was on my way back home that a car flashed its lights in my face, so that I was temporarily blindsided not to see a barricade someone had placed on my running path. The next thing I know, I'm on the ground face first. It was a really hard fall, I tell you, because what happened was I was running, not jogging. So I hit the ground, and I hit it hard, and ended up sustaining injuries on my right palm and right knee. But what did I do? I just got up, continued running until I got home. The second time, it was also in the evening. What happened this time was I was running really fast, and in the bid to avoid these three guys who were walking side by side, I missed a step just as I was passing them and slipped into the gutter beside them. The thing happened so fast, and because I was running, there was this thud as I slipped into the gutter. The guys were confused, saying, "Sorry, take it easy," and were reaching out to grab me to help me back on my feet. But I remember that I didn't even allow my body to hit the ground. What I did was to quickly regain my balance, shout a thank you to the guys, and I just kept on running until I got home. It was when I got home that I discovered I had sustained bruises on my waist and my knee. Now, the experience taught me a very big lesson, and that is, on our journey towards becoming the very best version of ourselves, on our journey towards achieving those goals that will take our lives to a whole new level, we will get blindsided sometimes. We'll get distracted by something flashy and obvious that we miss the obstruction that is right in front of us. That sometimes we are so focused on what is ahead that we miss the very obvious warning signs that are right in front of us. That sometimes, in a bid to avoid making a mistake, we might end up making 2 or 3 more mistakes. That look, sometimes we will drop the ball, we will fail, we will fall. That's right, we fall. But what is important isn't the fact that we fall, it's what we do after we fall. And what do? We simply get up. Now, this sounds simple and like common sense, right? But you and I know that common sense isn't always common practice. It's like what you see in babies when they are taking baby steps. As they are taking baby steps, what happens is that they fall. But what do? We do not force or respond in fear or panic. And guess what? The baby is fine, the baby doesn't cry, and then eventually they get up and try to continue taking their steps. But if, on the other hand, they fall and we make a fuss, we respond in fear, we respond in panic, we rush to their side to carry them up, like falling is the most terrible thing that could have ever happened to them, what do? They start crying. Now, isn't it interesting that this is what we tend to do as adults? We fall, and then what do? We cry about the fall. We make a fuss, we make a scene, we spend all the time analyzing the fall. We regret the fall and regret even taking that step that led to the fall. We feel embarrassed about the fall. What will people say? What will people think? We then even go ahead to say things like, well, since I'm on the ground, I might as well stay on the ground. I will build a home for myself on the ground. I will accept the ground as my place. Now, as I'm saying this out loud, you can probably see how ridiculous it is to think like this, to think that we should stay on the ground just because we fell. Now, for some of us, Yet the challenge isn't that we fall, the challenge is that we fall too often. So we take a step, a fall. We take another step, a fall. We take yet another step, still yet another fall. We end up having this string of fall after fall after fall that we just say to ourselves, you know what, no more. But I love the way scripture puts it. It says that no matter how many times you trip them up, God loyal people don't stay down for long. Before you know it, they are up on their feet. Now, who are these God loyal people? You and I. And what does it say? It says, look, it doesn't matter how many times you fall. What matters is what you do after you fall. And what do we simply do? Just get up. Spending all the time analyzing the fall, regretting the fall, staying on the ground will not make things get better, or will not change anything. What we simply need to do is to get up. Now, the interesting thing is that we don't need to have all the answers or all the solutions that we are seeking before we get up. But here's one thing that is guaranteed. We will not get those answers or those solutions that we seek if we don't get up. And that's why it's very important that we get up. Now you may be asking, how do I get up? See, by simply going out there and connecting with other positive people in your life, by going out there and doing something for somebody that needs your help, by reading good books, by doing what you can instead of focusing on what you can't. And then above all, to ask ourselves, what did I learn from this experience? What did I learn from this fall? For me, my own big takeaway was, Kayode, stop running in the evening, go in the morning. You know, I had been so set in my ways that I had never even considered running in the morning as an option. And that's what it's about. That at the end of the day, we learn how to change our approach, change our strategy. But this can only happen if we take that very first step, and which is to get up after we fall. To live a life of no excuses, a life where we go on to exceed our limits, break barriers, crush our goals, smash records, and go on to be those high performers that God has created us to be. It's helpful to remember that life is made up of two main themes: struggle and progress. We fall and then we are up on our feet.